الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد يقول الله عز وجل فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in these verses, so truly where there is hardship there is also ease. Truly where there is hardship there is also ease. And this was revealed to our beloved Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam while they were in Mecca. And this was during a time where the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam and his companions faced many hardships. They were abused physically. They were tortured financially. They were ignored socially. And it is in that time that we find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and see Him azza wa jal talking about ease. It was during this era, not once, not twice, but 3 times the migration was commanded. 2 times to Habasha, and the final migration was the Hijrah al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam to Medina. And then we ask, maybe in Medina they found some ease. After all of this migration and all of this hardship and having to leave their families, leave their finances, maybe now they will find the ease that they were looking for in Medina. But in Medina, they came across other hardships and they came across other difficulties. They had to deal with the local tribes there, creating treaties with them, in addition to creating treaties with the people of Mecca, in which they had just left. So this ease that Allah Azza wa Jal, He talks about, how do we deal with it and what is our perspective behind it? All of us know and see what is happening to our brothers and sisters in Gaza. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect them, ameen. In the financial, in the social, in the political, all of these different pressures are coming down on them. And some of those pressures we face here. So where does this victory come from? Is there a victory that we should be waiting for? Or are there victories that we have already received and victories that we were already perceiving? Because the last time we had faced threats of being called terrorists, the last time that we faced threats of political persecution, the last time we faced threats, and there are people here who had their bank accounts frozen. There are people here who were thrown in jail. There were people here who have stopped at airports, misconnecting flights. What was our response then? And what has our response been now? And I feel that at that time, the Muslims, we weren't as prepared to respond. We weren't as prepared to react in an appropriate way. We didn't know what way to go forward. But ever since our brothers and sisters have been oppressed and pushed and killed and massacred by the IDF, I'm actually very proud of the Muslim response. The Muslims have not strayed. We have been accused of being called terrorists yet again, no surprise. And the response that we've had is an extremely healthy one. I see people going and meeting with their local representatives. I see individuals calling for boycotts. I see individuals signing petitions. I see individuals getting the permits that are needed and going and protesting and hosting these rallies. I see individuals in the community mobilizing. I see talks on the minbar on this issue. I see healthy discussions. I see healthy pushes. I see healthy responses. And the last time we were cornered in the same way, and the last time we were called terrorists, what happened? We opened more masajid. We opened more clinics. We opened more Islamic centers. We opened funeral homes. We opened more food pantries. We created outreach programs. So when we were pushed into the corner, we started contributing more to society. In this time, I'm actually excited and look forward to how the Muslims respond. If that's what we did last time, I can only imagine with the bravery and the courage that I see today, how much more positive we will contribute to society. And this is something we should all be proud of. If we look at the accomplishments of the community and the things that we have done, it helps me look back at the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It helps me understand when he was cornered, when he was pressured, when they had a ban on him, when they said anybody who works with him and his family is to be excised. And in that same year, he sallallahu alaihi wasallam lost his major patron, Khadija radiallahu anha. He lost his major political support in his uncle Abu Talib. We find him sallallahu alaihi wasallam still striving, still contributing, still giving da'wah, and still working. In that spirit, I still find in the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam today. And like I said, we should be proud. We really should be. Because there are two things I learned from Gaza. I learned and I saw the unity of the Muslims. And the Muslims, they didn't ask the Ghazans who died, were they Shi'i, were they Ash'ari, were they Sufi? No. The only thing that concerns the community were they Muslims and are they being killed? That's all we cared about. And the second thing I saw was hope. When I saw the Muslims all over the world stand up and they say the oppression needs to stop. And I only expect good from my Muslim brothers and sisters. And I do have one expectation from the IDF, and that is cowardice. And I will say, with confidence, they have not failed. All they are doing is bombing hospitals, bombing schools, bombing religious centers, bombing transportation hubs, bombing all of the public services that are being offered to what is already an open-air prison. But maybe I misunderstood. Maybe I misunderstand that a hospital apparently is a Hamas base. A masjid apparently is a Hamas base. A school apparently is a Hamas base. But like I said, just like the Muslims haven't disappointed, they haven't disappointed either. And I expect nothing less than cowardice from them. And like I said, they have not disappointed. In the bravery I saw from the Muslims, very frankly, it was not something I expected. And I am so happy to see them stand up. I'm so happy to see them protest. I'm so happy to see them voice their concern for our brothers and sisters. And some of us here might feel like, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to deal with this government anymore. I'm very dissuaded by the things that are happening. And I understand that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says to us and He tells us, He said, "Sa'yukum mashkura." He said that your efforts are thanked for. He doesn't say the results. And sometimes we might not like the results. And yes, I understand. There are brothers in this community. They've lost 35 members within a matter of a week. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on all of them. Ameen. Other brothers lost entire families. And I know it's painful. And I know it's hard. And I know it's difficult. But we need to keep working. We need to keep struggling. We need to keep striving. And we will see the end result of all of this. If we don't see it in this world, insha'Allah, we will see the result of it in the next world, where it will truly count. فَلَا تَيَأْسُوا مِنْ رَوْحِ اللَّهِ. Don't give up. There's no reason to give up. And like I said, if you want to understand and you want to see, look back at our past achievements. Look at what we have done and what we have contributed and how much we have grown. And I'll just use Dar al-Hijrah as an example. I don't know how many of you know, when this masjid was built, they had maybe 30 to 40 congregants. And when they built the masjid, do you know how many people they planned it for? They planned it for 300. They planned this masjid for 300 people. And we get 300 people just in the first few rows now. This is barakatillah azza wa jal. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessing on this community. This is His blessing on Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And if we want to continue receiving that blessing, and if we want to continue doing good, and we want to continue receiving that fadl from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we have to keep working. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to us, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, that those individuals who believe and do good. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't tell us about the results, that those individuals who are successful, or those individuals that are winners. No, He says those individuals that work. We have to keep working. And I know it's frustrating. And I know it's not romantic. And I know it might not be the best thing. Keep making phone calls. Keep sending letters. Keep signing petitions. And like I said, it's not romantic. It doesn't sound nice. But it is the way forward. And I know, and I'm hearing the sentiment from many brothers, you know what, I don't want to vote. That is your choice. I'm not here to force anyone to do such. But remember, I pay taxes and so do you. And there are decisions that are made with the money that we are giving. And if the least I can do is tick a box. The least I can do. I don't think it's a big ask. But this is a question we need to all ask ourselves. Am I comfortable in standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the decisions that I made because of the freedoms that He gave me? Because the more freedom that He Azza wa Jal gives us, the more responsible He makes us. May He Azza wa Jal make us from those who stand up and fulfill our responsibilities. وَأَقُولُ قَوْلِي هَذَا وَأَسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهَ لِي وَلَكُمْ لِسَائِرِ الْمُسْلِمِينَ مِنْ كُلِّ ذَنْبٍ وَخَطِيئَةٍ إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد يقول الله عز وجل أم حسبتم أن تدخلوا الجنة ولما يأتكم مثل الذين خلوا من قبلكم مستهم البأساء والضراء وزلزلوا حتى يقول الرسول والذين آمنوا معه متى نصر الله ألا إن نصر الله قريب. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in this verse, do you suppose that you will enter the paradise without first having suffered like those before you? They were afflicted by misfortune and hardship, and they were so shaken that even their messenger and the believers with him cried, when will Allah's help arrive? Truly, Allah's help is near. And sometimes we forget that because of the pressure, because of the difficulty. And I'm sure that there are people in this room, myself included, who didn't know if they were going to be able to pay rent, who didn't know if they were going to pay their gas bill or their electric bill, who were afraid that their car might get taken away, who were afraid that they didn't know what to put in their refrigerator. There might be some of our brothers and sisters who might be in situations where they're being abused, where they're being taken advantage of, where we feel like we're cornered and we don't know what to do. And what does Allah want us to do? He wants us to keep striving. He wants us to keep working. And if I am in a situation where I'm being hurt financially, where I'm being hurt sexually, where I'm being hurt emotionally, what do? I have to turn and I have to use those resources that are available to me. And walillahi alhamd, Al-Hijrah is not the only resource, and it can't be. But there are many resources and sources that are available here. There are many brothers and sisters who come to my office, who come to Sheikh Shakir's office with their spiritual problems. Some people have a crisis of faith. They don't know if Islam is the right religion for them anymore. There are many people who come to us because they're in abusive relationships, either marriage, toward the husband or toward the wife. Children come into our office. Adults come into our office. Young men, young women, people who don't have places to stay. All of us have faced these difficulties. Some of us might have experienced them firsthand, or someone might know someone who has faced that and dealt with that. Our job is to provide and get them to those services that they need. I don't need to be the one to always help someone. I don't have enough room in my house to house all the homeless people, very frankly. But I can help them get to places that might be able to help them out. And that is our job as a Muslim. We serve as gateways. We provide pathways to get people the services that they need. So what can we do for our community? Very simply, go to our website, see what services are offered. And maybe we can help a brother and sister in that situation. Or if I myself in that situation, if I'm being abused and I'm taking advantage of, the easiest thing to do, make a quick appointment and be like, I don't know what to do. Get some advice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us two very powerful tools to use in our individual lives. He's given us the power of istishara, just like He ordered the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ, and seek counsel from them, that we seek counsel from another. We take each other's advice. We ask, I don't know what's going on. I need help. And then we listen to our elders. We listen to the people of knowledge so that we can get that advice. And the second powerful tool He Azza wa Jal has given us is the tool of istikhara, where we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to put khair and barakah in our decisions. Like I said, all we have to do is act. Allah Azza wa Jal has created all of these pathways. He's given us all of the means. How many of us are actually going to seize them and utilize them? And if we don't utilize them, then we are the ones that are responsible. When the angels will come to them at their death, they say, what was your hal? How were you? They say, kunna mustada'afina fil ard. That we were weak and oppressed in the land. And the angels will ask them, they say, alam tukun ardullahi wasa'? Was Allah's land not wide enough for you to migrate therein? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibits us from two things. He prohibits us from oppressing others, and He prohibits us from allowing ourselves to be in situations where we are oppressed. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from being the oppressors. May He Azza wa Jal protect us from being oppressed. May He Azza wa Jal help our oppressed brothers and sisters in Gaza. May He Azza wa Jal protect them from all evil. May He Azza wa Jal have mercy on all of our brothers and sisters in Gaza who have passed. We ask Him Azza wa Jal to protect all of the ones who are ill, to create a means for them, to create a way for them, to stop the killing of our brothers and sisters in Gaza. We ask Him Azza wa Jal to have mercy on all of those who have passed. We ask Him Azza wa Jal to give shifa, to give healing to all of those who are ill. And a close friend of mine, Akhuna Ali Hawa, I'm sure some of you know him, his daughter, she's in the hospital. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give her a full and complete recovery. We ask Azza wa Jal to help those who are in any type of financial hardship out of that hardship. We ask Him Azza wa Jal to help those who are in debt out of that debt. And we ask Him Azza wa Jal to gather us up in His paradise like He has gathered us here today. Wa aqim as-salah.